And good afternoon, everybody. It is the Derby Show. Jim Miller and the man, David Kaplan. He's everywhere. You were at a remote this morning by Wrigley. You got Unfiltered going on. And I've heard you talk about this weekend, Cap, as one of your favorite weekends of the year because you have MLB baseball kicking off. Of course, we have awesome horse racing action. We just ended the tournament. The Masters, Cap, the Masters. Awesome stuff. What an awesome first round going on today, too, my friend.
Yeah, I'm really excited, and it's great to be with you. I love your T-shirt, by the way. A walk that you participated in with me, and we had a good time betting on baseball as we walked 25 miles. That was pretty funny. But you're right. I love the Masters. I love horse racing. I love baseball, which opening day is today for the Cubbies, tomorrow for the White Sox. So it should be a lot of fun. And so Saturday, before I hang out with my kids and my grandson, they're having a family event. I am going to lay on my couch, watch the Masters, and gamble on 3 Derby prep races. Good to be me.
It is good to be you. And here's the thing. This is the last of the big prep races, 3 100-point races. It's a really weird year this year, Cap, because we talked about how Baffert horses weren't able to get points early on. Now some Baffert horses have shifted away from him to try to get points with this last-ditch effort. But you haven't seen a whole lot of horses really going to the sidelines. So right now, 21 points actually gets you in. So horses have to earn points. There's good horses that have to earn points. There's been years where 10 points, 16 points can get you in the gate for the Derby. I don't think it's going to happen this year, Cap. Good horses are going to have to race and run well. But this right now so far still looks like a wide open Derby to me. What have you seen so far? Do you agree?
Because of I call it the Baffert factor.
Yeah.
You've got horses that even if you leave Baffert, you're asking a strange group to handle a horse while it may be wildly talented. Just everything's different. If I took you out of your comfort zone and dropped you in to a new house with a new job, you just wouldn't be yourself till you had a comfort zone. Well, you have no time. You better get points, get in the Derby, and then try and win.
Yeah, and I'm kicking myself a little bit because of that right there, because last week was the first of those Baffert horses that we saw move, and that was a horse by the name of Doppelganger. And Doppelganger went over to the Arkansas Derby, wanted to get points, tried to get points, and then the horse didn't get enough points. You look at the results of the Arkansas Derby last week. Cyberknife ran an impressive race. It was a huge day for our buddy Florent Giroux. He won 3 major stakes, including this one with Cyberknife. Barber Road's been pretty good. Secret Oath's been pretty good too. But Cyberknife, a good winner there, Cap. You go down to Gulfstream, the Florida Derby. This is the race I'm kicking myself a little bit. You liked Papa Cap, who ran well, Cap. The horse finished 4th. Yeah. I had O'Captain, who I thought ran okay, but finished 5th. White Abario was a horse I picked 2 starts back. Overlooked that horse, comes right back, ran a really nice race, and won and paid a decent price. And then again, I'm kicking myself. We both picked Stolen Base in the Jeff Ruby Stakes, Cap. Tiz the Bomb was a horse that was the winner. Tiz the Bomb, impressive once again. We don't know what to make of Tiz the Bomb. Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf winner last year wins this race on a synthetic surface. So I'm not quite sure what to make of any of these races here, Cap. But looking back, I kicked myself a little bit just for kind of overlooking some horses. But we haven't seen any major upsets either, Cap, in these big Derby preps, and I'll be curious to see what this week brings too.
Yeah, see if we can come up with something like a monster bomb. You know, it'll happen a lot in the Derby from Minette Bird to Giacomo and all these different ones. But we've seen a lot of favorites, and a horse that I love, this weekend we'll get to is as big a favorite as we've seen this spring. So again, it's tough to pick the favorite because there's no value, but sometimes take the small profit instead of trying to swing for the stars.
You got to pick the horse that's going to win. And that's the thing about it. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. But you got to get points, so you're looking for the best horse. So the first of the races, Cap, that we're going to look at is the Wood Memorial at Aqueduct. This is a really interesting race. It goes 1 1/8 miles for the Wood Memorial, $750,000. In this race, you have Mo Donegal with 12 points, Golden Code with 10 points, Morello with 50 points. Everybody else has nada. So when you're looking at a race like this, it's 100 points to the winner, 40 to second, 20 to third, and 10 to fourth. So honestly, you probably have to run first or second if you want to get into the Kentucky Derby out of this race. But what did you make here of the Wood Memorial? Because I know you had a bit of a price in this spot, right?
I did. I looked at everything, all my different formulas, and I did go with a horse with a price. I'll get to that in a minute. 20 horses coming out of the Wood have won the Derby, including my all-time favorite athlete, and that's not Walter Payton, and that's not Michael Jordan. It's Secretariat. But you've had an amazing list from Assault, Carry Back, Foolish Pleasure, Secretariat, Seattle Slew, Genuine Risk, Funny Side. But guess what? You have not had a Wood Memorial winner win the Kentucky Derby since Fuseachi Pegasus 22 years ago in 2000.
Can you believe it's been 22 years since that horse ran? It doesn't seem like it. It seems like it was almost yesterday. You're seeing Offspring running now, the horse, but 20 years ago. But yes, it's a quality race. I thought this was a quality field. It's interesting because there are some lightly raced horses in here, Cap. I liked Morello in this spot. I thought Morello's race in the Gotham was really good. It was a really sharp race, a good win by 4.5 lengths. When we get to our wagers later on, that's going to be the horse that I talk about. But Cap, you're on a bomb in here. This is a horse that's a big price, my friend.
Yeah, Skippy Long Stocking. Look, in last race, won a 1 1/8 mile first level allowance, claiming at Gulfstream by 3 3/4 comfortably. A lifetime best equibase speed figure of 100. 100. That means he can contend with any horse in this race. However, is he going to get that type of a trip? He had a really good trip. That's the question. But I took a shot here. When I saw the speed figure, his workouts are off the charts. Everything I've read about how he's looking, off the charts. And I went, you know what? He's got 2 wins, a second, a third, and 8 starts. Doesn't have a Derby point. I am going to take a shot on Skippy Longstocking, and I think I'm going to get big odds.
I think you're going to get big odds, too. Here's the thing. Battle tested is something you're getting with Skippy Longstocking because the horse has made 8 starts. He's hit the board in half of those 8 starts. This is going to be the first start at Aqueduct for the horse, but I'm curious to see because you're facing tough competition. You know the championship meet at Gulfstream Park is always good, Cap. This is a horse that I think is going to post a good, solid performance, and you might get enough pace to chase. So I like your chances. I'm actually going to touch on that horse a little bit later as well, because that's my long shot play. But I liked Morello. I thought the last race was good. Distance is always a question. The horse went 3/4 of a mile, 7/8 of a mile, and then a mile at Aqueduct, but has won rather easily in each. I guess the thing that I like the most, all 3 of those starts came without Lasix. You can't run in the Derby on Lasix. This horse has never started on Lasix, and the horse has run well. So that's a good thing for me. It's the reason I went to Morello on top. I thought this horse could be a little bit of a factor. I know your sleeper pick was also in this race, though, Cap. It came with the 3-horse early voting. This is a horse from the barn of trainer Chad Brown. What did you see out of early voting in this spot?
Well, I'm a big Chad Brown guy. I really like Chad Brown. I think he's an excellent trainer. This horse has had 2 starts and won both starts.
Yeah.
2-0. So it has 10 Kentucky Derby points. It's got a speed figure of 81. I like that dark chocolate coat. The horse looks like an athlete. You go back and watch. It's lightly raced, but it has a win at 2 turns. And with Chad Brown, good workout times. Jose Ortiz won the 2019 Wood, second last year. So I took a shot.
And here's the thing. They started this horse. They debuted at a mile. It's not like they went with a sprint to debut. They said, we're going 2 turns. This is a 2-turn type of horse. You go a mile and an 1/8. In the second lifetime start, the horse won a 1 1/8, Cap, and the horse was victorious. That's a good sleeper play. I think that's a really good race, though, to kick things off for the start of these 3 Derby preps. Now, later on after that, we go over to Keeneland. Race number 9 is the Bluegrass Stakes. And again, you look up and down this field. Command Performance has 6 Derby points. Zandon, 14. Volcanic, 2. Emmanuel, 5. Golden Glider, 5. Rattle and Roll, 20. Smile Happy, 30. And Grantham, 21. Grantham is the last horse on the list right now to get into the Derby. And you know that's going to change after this weekend. But, Cap, there's a horse in here that you looked to, I believe, last start out in the Louisiana Derby, or a horse that you could make a case for out of a race in the Breeders' Futurity last year, but you had Rattle and Roll on top.
Correct. So Kenny McPeak, who's another look, these are all good trainers.
Yeah.
Kenny McPeak said, the draw is fine for my horses. We have to take the Overland route, but it was a last-minute decision for me to enter Rattle and Roll. He's been training very well. He won a grade 1 here last fall. I think he will like it off track. I want to run him in the mud, and I think he likes the distance. So when I hear all that and you decide to pay the entry, jump in at the last second, it's because you think you can win.
You think you can win. They're putting the blinkers on the horse, so they're trying to figure out just what's going to happen here. Epicenter is a very good racehorse, Cap. Simplification is a good racehorse. This horse has not been facing any slouches by any means. The thing that surprised me, Cap, too, Rattle and Roll was only 6-1 in the Louisiana Derby, and I thought ran a decent enough race. 8-1 in the morning line in this race. This is a horse that is a good, solid price in this spot. And I think a horse like Rattle and Roll, again, you always need pace to chase in a race. You might get pace just because you get a larger field. So you never know who's going to go. So a horse like Rattle and Roll could definitely be a factor in here too.
And one thing I would tell you to caution you on Smile Happy, as I did my reading about it, it's coming in from the fairgrounds, and they have not produced a winner in the Bluegrass in a decade. So he's got some historical precedence against him.
He's also got Kenny McPeak, though, my friend, and that's what I like. We got the Kenny McPeak exacta in here, and you're right. Have to see kind of how things unfold. I like that Corey Lannery follows this horse over. I think they're trying to get Smile Happy to the point where they just know they have enough points. The horse has 30 points right now, 9-5 morning line favorite in here. Here's what I like. The horse has won at Churchill Downs. The horse only made one start this year. I think McPeak was just trying to space out those races to get the horse really geared up leading into the Derby. I do like Smile Happy's chances. What I'm going to be curious to see, Cap, it's very similar running styles. Rattle and Roll and Smile Happy are both going to rate back early on and look to close up some ground late. And the thing that you got to watch for is when you have two horses from the same trainer, you want to make sure you're not interfering with one another either. But I tend to wonder what kind of tactics are going to be used in this spot, because the other thing, too, you look at the owner. They're both owned by Lucky 7 Stable. You know you want to get the owner into the Derby. So I wonder what kind of strategy goes into this race, or if they just kind of let them ride their own race. But I think both those horses, Cap, could be there. They could both earn enough points to get into the gate for the Derby, don't you think?
There's no question about it. And this is a race that has produced some real quality winners that have gone on to win the Kentucky Derby. So quality field.
And the thing is, since Keeneland switched over from a synthetic surface back to a conventional dirt surface, that changes things a little bit too for horses kind of prepping going into the Derby. But you're right, this is a big weekend at Keeneland, and it's just going to be weather could be the key. You're right. You mentioned that earlier. And off track could definitely be the key for this race too. All right, the last of our races, Cap, it's the Santa Anita Derby. This is that weird race that you talked about a little bit earlier, because you have two horses in here, Longshot and the 2-horse, but then the heavy favorite in Messier, who were both with Bob Baffert. Now they come into this race here today. New trainers in here. You go to the Barna trainer, Tim Yaktine, who's a good trainer on the California circuit. Don't get me wrong. It's not Bob Baffert, though, but man, Messier was really good in that last start, and I know this is the horse that you put on top, right?
In terms of Messier, I just don't see how you beat this horse. I don't. The long shot horse that I looked at actually was Happy Jack. Happy Jack finished 27 lengths behind Messier. However, I think this race with a small field sets up to be a speed duel early. Happy Jack is as big a closer as you're going to find. I mean, this horse, that's all it does is close. So I feel like if you have a duel up top that's, whoa, these two are really locked up, don't be shocked if Happy Jack finds a way to come from behind and at least get a piece of your exotics.
Yeah, and there's one other that you have to include in there. Tyva, the horse on the outside, is also a horse that used to be with Baffert. So you're right. Again, it's a trainer's type of race. And when you get a short field here, pace really does make the race. We know Forbidden Kingdom's good. That's why I went to in here. This is the test for Forbidden Kingdom, because this is a horse that, if you look, lost to Messier in that start last November in the Bob Hope. After that, 2 really good efforts this year, but one on the front end in that last out and one really unchallenged. And then Doppelganger came back in the Arkansas Derby and kind of threw a little bit of a clunker in there. So that makes me worry a little bit about Forbidden Kingdom. This horse also has enough points to get into the gate for the Kentucky Derby, Cap, has 50 points. Messier has to get the points in this race because the horse
Messier has 0.
Yeah, and that's a huge thing. That's a huge thing that you have to make note of, right?
Okay, no question about it. But let me just tell you this. The co-owner, the ownership group, SF Racing, that owns Messier, they happen to be one of the majority owners of a horse you might have heard of called Justify.
That horse was decent.
Decent. Yeah. 2018 Triple Crown winner Justify. So I look at Messier, named for one of my favorite hockey players.
Awesome.
Got a haircut like me. The second leading scorer in the history of the sport. And I like Messier. 107 Equibase speed figure and a 103 buyer winning the Robert B. Lewis. That's flying.
We've seen a lot of races and a lot of times too, Cap, where we go into the Kentucky Derby and no horse in the race had registered a triple-digit buyer leading into the Kentucky Derby. So you're right. That's a huge race, and Messier has to have the points. Like you said, the only thing that changes for us, of course, is a little bit is the switch in barns, so we'll see how things unfold. But, Cap, going back, our long shots here, like we mentioned, you have Happy Jack in the Santa Anita Derby. I went to your top pick in the Wood Memorial. I felt even a little bit better about this pick now with Skippy Longstocking because you put the horse on top, Cap. But again, when you're looking for prices, that's something that you really want to check out. So 2 nice prices there. Looking at the sleepers that we have, one horse that I want to touch on here, Cap, you have early voting. We talked about that a little bit earlier from the barn of trainer Chad Brown. I picked Emmanuel in the Bluegrass. We both liked this horse. I know when the horse ran last out at Gulfstream Park, and it was just a horrible trip. 5-6 wide the entire way around for Emmanuel in the Fountain of Youth. I was actually surprised Pletcher went back to Luis Saez on this horse, Cap. But again, we're going to get 5-1, so we look for prices for the sleeper. But Cap, here's the most important thing. We got $100. We got to spend our $100. For me, I went to the Wood Memorial. For you, you went to the Bluegrass. Look at that. You're going back to rattle and roll, huh, my friend?
I'm going to rattle and roll, trying to get a little odds, see if I can pad that bankroll. So I've got some scratch for the Kentucky Derby. And you mentioned who my sleeper was early voting. Chad Brown, who I really like, has 10 Derby points, unbeaten. Yes, it's only 2 lower level races, but I'm just telling you, son of Gun Runner, it's a good horse.
And bred to handle the distance. It won't be a problem at all going 2 turns. I like that we're taking shots here on horses that you just put everything on the nose of the horse and say, go ahead. We don't have to worry about who's running second, who's running third. And I like that we're in 2 different races too, Cap, because that gives us the ability to bet and try to cross over and make some money. So for you, it's going to be rattle and roll. For me, it's going to be Morello. I really like Morello on the Wood Memorial. I like that the horse likes the track. I like that the horse has run well in New York in the past. And I do think this is a horse that is going to be a solid factor. So, Cap, hopefully we can make some money this week. The 3 stakes races are Spring Stakes Showdown races as well, too. So for those of you playing the Spring Stakes Showdown, lots of chances to make some points. But, Cap, after this, we're basically going to know the Derby field. We have 1 race only, so it'll be a quick show next week because the only race we're covering is the Lexington. And then we prepare for the first Saturday in May. We're going to have a pretty good idea of who's in, Cap. And maybe we'll kind of start to take a little look at the Kentucky Derby next week. But, man, with so much going on this weekend, I don't know how you're going to find time to play the horses, but I'm glad you are.
I will absolutely be locked in. You can ask my son, Brett, when we come downstairs. There goes TVG. There goes TVG2. We open up the Club Hawthorne app. Bam! We're ready to go. We do it every week.
I love it. Brett's a smart man. Cap, I've been able to watch Unfiltered on NBC Sports and Unfiltered, a cool show. How's that been going as you've kicked things off here over the last week?
So it's been a lot of fun. We've had a really good time. We had Billy Donovan and Tom Izzo leading into the national championship game with our coverage. I have Ozzie Guillen today. I have Frank Thomas tomorrow. So a big White Sox contingent. And I know you are a White Sox fan. So good luck to you and your team this season. I think they can win the World Series.
Their good health is going to be the key. I don't mind the Lance Lynn injury early in the season. You want your health later in the season. So that's the thing. One point that I was talking about to some friends a little bit earlier in the day is with the condensed baseball season this year, you need to avoid weather cancellations early on because there's the scheduled doubleheaders already. So I worry a little bit that teams that play in domes, teams that play in better weather climates might have a little bit of an advantage. But here's the thing. I don't think Detroit's going to be as good as everybody's making them out because you need a whole lot of young players to be really good early on. I think the Twins could be the sleeper in that division, but I still think the White Sox are going to be good enough. Then the Cubs, we'll see what happens with the Cubs.
Will you be available if they need you out of the 45 division? Isn't that what you pitch in?
Yes, sir. I'm ready, man. I'm ready. I'm throwing 4 pitches for strikes right now, and I got enough velocity and location to get guys out. I'm not worried about that, my friend. Send me out there any day.
That would be amazing to come watch you pitch for the White Sox.
I would do it in a heartbeat. I think that would be the coolest thing in the world. It's all about location, man. If you can hit your spots, you're going to be just fine with a little bit of movement. All right, Cap, I know you're heading on to talk to Ozzie Guillen, so good luck to you this weekend with your selections. Good luck to you with all of your plays in the Masters. Good luck to you with the home openers for baseball coming up and just the kickoff to the season. We'll do it again next week, my friend.
And the best to you and to your family and to the great Dakota Schultz.
He is the man. He is really the man. It's always good to have Dakota working behind the scenes, my friend. All right, good luck. We'll see you again next week.
Take that.